Hi, and thanks for joining me for another little yoga practice. Today's practice will be a HaTha practice. So HaTha meaning sort of a balance of opposites. So some hot and some cold, some fast and some slow, some energetic and some very soft. So we'll be moving fairly rapidly just to warm the body up a little bit, and then taking some long held postures with an opportunity just to really let go of any unnecessary effort in the body, and of course also letting go of unnecessary mental and emotional effort. As always, please work at your own pace. If you have questions, just ask me in the comments and I'll be happy to hear from you. And if you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the new classes I'm putting up. And with that being said, let's get started, shall we? So we're going to begin just standing up, and we're going to take a little joint mobilization exercise. So I want you to stand with your feet comfortably apart, hands on your hips. And just take a moment to relax the shoulders down and back. And then standing with the weight in your right foot, just to make circles with your left ankle. And try to make them fairly smooth rather than being fast, to make sure you're rolling over the knuckle of the big toe. And then just change direction and circle back the other way. You can do these movements with your eyes closed if you're familiar with them. Now swapping to the other side, weighting the left foot, start to circle the right ankle. And again, you'll notice you probably have a little more connection to one side than the other, that's fine. Go back the other way. So again, smooth and circular to the best of your ability. Now bring your feet together, press your toes down and try and keep the toes anchored down into your mat. And with your hands on your knees, make circles. So again, not worrying about going fast, but being smooth. And try and keep the toes down, the weight fairly even on the feet. Now changing direction, go back the other way. And again, you'll probably notice one direction is a little more controlled than the other. But again, just do the best you can. Now bringing your body back upright, separate your feet once more, bring your hands onto your hips, and thinking of your tailbone as your reference point, start to make circles with your hips. So again, we're trying to keep the feet anchored down, a nice smooth circles, just helping to warm up the hips and the lower back a little bit. And then change direction and go back the other way. And now just taking your hands down, make sure you've got a little space around the sides of you, and start to windmill your arms. Make sure this movement's coming from your spine and your hips, not from the arms, so the shoulders remain really soft. It's almost like one of those little Japanese prayer drums, if you know the ones I mean, with a little ball on a string on either side. So your arms are just swinging passively and the spine is doing the rotation. And just wind that movement back down. And then taking your arms again to swing forwards and backwards this time. Just let them go to their end of range of motion, just comfortable end of range in each direction. So again, the arms are quite passive. There should just be a little stretch in the shoulders at either end of the swing. And just wind that movement down again. And bringing your hands to cup, start to roll your wrists. So you're trying to keep the wrists more or less connected the whole time. Using this movement to warm up not just the wrists, but the shoulders and elbows a little bit as well. And then go back the other way. And release the hands, give them a little shake, give your shoulders a little shake, a little roll. And then step to the front of your mat, and we'll take a couple of salutes together. So start by gently breathing out with your feet together and bring your arms up. Take a breath in and gently fold forward, taking your hands maybe just to the shins or a little lower if you'd like, taking the lower back relatively straight. Lift the collarbones a little bit further as you breathe in. And then taking hands to the mat, step back into downward facing dog. From down dog, move forward into plank. You might prefer kneeling plank. And then lower all the way to your stomach and gently breathe out. Point your toes, lift the chest and hands, pressing back through the palms. And either stay there or perhaps interlace the hands and pull the shoulders back. Take one more smooth breath in. Try to keep the belly relatively soft. And then hands, knees, nose to the mat. Glide back into child's pose. It's a little trickier than it looks. Take a breath in child's pose, just softening the shoulders. Try to move them wide. And on your next in-breath, lift the hips high. And then press the heels back as you exhale and make your way into full down dog again. Hold there for a breath or two. Maybe give your head a little roll side to side. And gently raise your heels, look forwards and breathe in. And bring your feet to the front of the mat and gently breathe out there. Press the hips forwards a little bit, bring the backs of the hands together, stand and reach high, maybe up and back a little. And again, fold the body forward and calmly exhale. Lift your collarbones forward, pull the shoulders back as you breathe in. You might like to hold there for a moment and just see if you can relax the backs of the legs. Take another calm breath in, pulling the shoulders away from your ears. And then hands to the mat. Again, step back into down dog, trying perhaps to alternate feet. From here, reach your right leg up and back. Try to keep the hips level. And as you breathe out, press the chest towards the left foot. Take another smooth breath in, stretching out to the right toes. Then step your right foot behind the right hand, spin the left heel down. As you stand, come into warrior one. So we're trying to face the hips forward and sink a little deeper into the hips as you breathe out. Take another breath in. You can look up if it feels okay for your neck. Then take your hands to the mat and step back into downward facing dog. You can rest there if you'd like, or in child's pose. Otherwise, come forward to your plank and lower to the stomach and gently exhale. Try to be smooth with that lower. Point the toes, press back through the hands as you lift the chest. And either stay there or again interlace and pull the shoulders further back. Either stay there or now lift to up dog if you'd like. So hips and thighs off the mat. And then hands, knees, nose to the mat. Glide back into child's pose, toes tucked. Again, take a breath there. Just relax the shoulders and the face. Then lift the hips up as you breathe in, knees bent, and press the heels back into down dog as you exhale. Take a breath there and see if you can just relax the shoulders and move them a bit wider. And on your next in-breath, reach the left leg high, straight line from hands to left toes, and press your right heel down and back as you breathe out. Taking one more smooth breath, try to keep the weight steady in the hands. And then bring the left foot forward behind the hand, right heel down, and gently breathe out. And as you stand, come to warrior one. Reach up into the fingers. And as you breathe out, try and sink down into the hips and press to the outer edge of the back foot. Take another smooth breath in, lengthening all the way from inner right ankle to the fingers. And then take hands to the mat and step back into downward facing dog. Stay there and rest or move forward into plank. And from there, smoothly lower the body down. Don't collapse or race. Press back through the hands, lift chest and hands as you breathe in. And again, maybe interlace the hands and pull the shoulders back as you breathe out. Stay there or perhaps lift to up dog, lengthening the front of the body, but still with the back active. Hands, knees, nose to the mat. Glide back into child's pose. Pause there for a breath. Try to lengthen under the armpits. And as you breathe in, with bent knees, lift the hips and then press the heels back
into down dog and exhale. Again, just hold there for a breath or two. You might like to gently pedal out through the knees. And after breathing out once more, raise the heels and look forward. And walk, step or float your feet to your hands and exhale. Bring the backs of your hands together, standing up, reach the arms high. And this time, keeping the arms raised, sink into Utkatasana, chair pose as you breathe out. Technically it's fierce pose. Take another breath in, reach the arms a little higher, press forward through knees, back through heels. And then fold your body gently forward and breathe out. And again, let's hold here for a breath and just let the back of the legs and the lower back soften. Remember to bend the knees if necessary. Then arch the spine, lift the collarbones, take a breath in there. And hands to the mat, make your way back into downward facing dog. Again, trying to alternate feet. From down dog, reach the right leg high, stretch up to the toes. And as you breathe out, bend your right knee and turn to look under the right arm. Then level the hips, reach to the right toes and inhale. And bring the right knee to the left armpit if that feels okay for you. Then again, reach the right leg up and back, stretch out to the toes. Bring the right foot behind the right hand, spin the left heel down. Stand as you breathe in, coming into warrior one. And again, sink the hips a little deeper as you exhale. Take one more breath. Again, try to lift the inner back knee. Take your hands to the mat and step lightly back to downward facing dog. Stay there or move forward into plank. And we control lower to stomach or push up. Take your version of up dog, whatever that may be. Maybe just on chest or lifting chest and hands. Pull the shoulders back as you breathe out. Take one more smooth breath in, arching the spine. And then press back into down face dog and exhale. Again, pause there for a breath. Maybe roll the head side to side, softening the neck. As you breathe in, raise the left leg high, stretching up to the toes. Then bend your left knee, turn to look under the left arm as you breathe out. Keep the right heel down as you level the hips and reach to the left foot. And bring the left foot forward into Virabhadrasana 1. So you can take arms forwards or backs of hands together, it doesn't really matter. Sink down into the front knee as you breathe out. Take another breath in, maybe arching a little further. And then hands to the mat and step back to downward facing dog. Rest there or move forward into plank. Lower smoothly to the stomach or the push-up, maybe using knees. Take your version of up dog, whatever that may be. And holding there, pull the shoulders back as you breathe out. Take one more smooth breath, maybe raising the chin to stretch the throat, not essential. And then press back, maybe into a push-up, and make your way back to downward facing dog. From down dog, raise the hips and heels as you breathe in. And then press the heels back as you exhale. Again, breathing gently in, lengthen from hands to sit bones, heels high. And press the heels back down, lengthening the backs of the legs. Once more, raise your heels, look forwards and breathe in. Walk, step or float to the front of the mat. Gently breathe out. From Uttanasana, come to Utkatasana, reaching the arms high. And again, sink the hips a little deeper as you exhale. Take another breath in, pull the elbows and hands back. And again, sink the hips, knees forward, heels down and back. And straighten all the way up. Lift onto the toes as you breathe in. Lower your heels. Lower your hands down. And step your left foot back into Trikonasana. Almost finished with our warm-up. So take the right hand down the inner leg, left arm high. And try to have a sense of both arms reaching out equally. Pull the front ribs gently in and turn the body, trying to keep the head, shoulders and hips in the same plane as the feet. Take one more smooth breath here, extending out to the fingers of both hands. And after you exhale, just bend your front knee a little bit, take your hands down and adjust your left foot a little towards the left side. Take your right hand onto your hips, see if you can feel that they're relatively level and square to the front of your mat. And then start to straighten the right leg a little. You can either choose to stay there, or you might like to reach the right arm high, coming into Parivrita Trikonasana. And you can be on fingers, you can have your hand on your shin or your foot, you can have the palm flat, inside or outside of the foot, doesn't really matter. Again, try to pull the right hip back, turn the shoulders, taking one more breath here. And after breathing out, bring the right hand down. Take another breath in. You might like to again check that the hips are level. Often they go a bit out of alignment like mine did. And now see if you can gently fold over the right leg. If you need to bend the knee to keep the back straight, that's fine. If you need to just stay up a little bit higher, maybe hands on shin, that's also fine. Make sure you're still pressing into the back heel. Take one more calm breath here. Keep the front knee unlocked. And after breathing out, bring your hands to your chest. See if you can arch the spine and stand up using the hamstring and back muscles. Then reach your arms high, stretch up to the fingers. And holding your left wrist, take your hands over to the right. Try and roll your left hip forward, press out into the left hand. At the same time, press down through the inner left foot. Take one more calm breath here, maybe folding a little further to the side. And bring the arms up, take a smooth breath in, looking up if you feel comfortable. And step left foot forward and hands in front of the heart. Now step your right foot back, taking the same on the second side. So feet are leg distance apart. Left foot facing forward, right foot just a little out to the side. Take the left hand down, right hand up. And again, try to keep your body in line with your feet. There should be a gentle sense of pulling your front ribs in here. And remember, you can look up if it feels okay for your neck. But if that's not comfortable for you, just stay looking down or to the side. Take one more calm breath here. Remember, the front knee stays unlocked but straight. And after breathing out there, just bring your right hand down, maybe bending the left leg a little bit, and adjust your right foot a little out to the side. So heels are about hip width apart. Take your left hand onto the back of the hips, see if you can level them up. And then maybe start to straighten the left leg. And again, you can stay with your left hand on the hips. That might help you to keep them level. If you're comfortable, reach the left arm up. Trying to keep the arms in line with the shoulders. And again, if you need to be hand to shin, that's fine. Maybe hand to foot, maybe hand to the mat. Keep pressing down into your right heel. And keep gently turning your shoulders to the left. Again, looking up or down, your choice. Take one more calm breath here. And after you breathe out once more, bring your left hand down. Again, you might like to just check the hips are still relatively level. And just for a few breaths, fold over your left leg. Make sure that tension isn't creeping into the shoulders, so give your head a roll side to side, maybe your shoulders a little roll. And just let the body soften over the left leg. Take one more smooth breath here. And after breathing out, bring your hands to the chest. Try and keep the left leg strong and straight, not locked. Use your back muscles and press down through the left foot to stand. Reach your arms up high as you breathe in. Then holding your right wrist, take your hands over to the left. Try to press down into your inner right heel and press out through the right palm. See if you can roll the right hip forward, but lift the right ribs up. Take one more breath here. Maybe going a little bit further as you breathe out. And then bring the body back up, stretch high to the hands, maybe looking up. And step the right foot forward and hands in front of the heart. Then bending your knees, come into Utkatasana, reach the arms high. Fold your body forward into Uttanasana, ribs and thighs connected. Lift the collarbones, arch the spine as you breathe in. And from there, step back into downward facing dog. Rest or move forward into plank as you breathe in. With control, lower the body down and breathe out. Take your up dog, whatever that may be. And then press smoothly back into down dog and exhale. Pause there for a breath. Gently relax the shoulders and the face. Then rolling onto right hand and right foot, raise the left arm high in Vashisthasana. Stay there if you need, otherwise see if you can thread your left hand under the right with your fingernails grazing the mat. As you breathe in, reach the left arm high, stretching up to the fingertips. Try to lift the hips. And bring, again, left arm under the right if you can. Then again, reach the left arm high, stretch up to the hand. Maybe looking up if your balance is good. And third time, arm goes under the right. And again, sweep the left arm high, take a breath in. And exhale back into downward facing dog. Again, pause there for a breath. Maybe rolling the head, relax the neck. Then roll into left foot and left hand. Reach the right arm high. And gently take the right arm under the left if you can. So fingernails again grazing the mat. Reach the left arm high, moving smoothly. Again, maybe looking up. And right arm goes under left, moving steadily with the breath. And again, reach the right arm high. Lift the hips, maybe looking up. Shoulders relaxed. And release back to downward facing dog. Take another smooth breath in here. And then simultaneously lower your elbows to the mat without the hands moving. Take another smooth breath in and then straighten the arms simultaneously as you breathe out. Again, take a breath in, lift up through the hips and lower the elbows concurrently at the same time or simultaneously. Take a smooth breath in there, squeeze the elbows in and again straighten the arms at the same time. And once more, deeply breathing in. Lower the elbows gently down. Lift up through the hips, press shoulders towards toes, and then again straighten the arms at the same time. Stay in rest or move forward into plank, our last vinyasa. And smoothly lower the body down as you breathe out. Take your up dog, breathing in, roll the shoulders back. And make your way smoothly back into downward facing dog. And exhale there. Take a breath in, down dog. Just let the head hang down. Then raise your heels, look forwards and inhale. And make your way to the front of your mat. And standing all the way up, backs of hands together, reaching high. And bring your hands gently down. Close your eyes for a moment. With hands to the heart. Just take a few relaxed breaths, lengthening your exhalations in particular. After breathing out once more, just gently open your eyes. We're going to start our slow practice with some variations of Prasarita Padottanasana. So we're going to stand with the feet about 1.5 meters apart, give or take, so adjusted for leg length a little bit. And I want you to make sure here that your kneecaps are pulled up a little bit and the weight is even on your toes and heels. So to begin with, we're just going to fold forward and take the fingertips to the floor underneath your shoulders. You can take the feet a little wider if you're comfortable. And just take a couple of breaths there looking straight down and try to have that sense of the legs active. Now, if you're a bit of a chronic back archer, it's important here that you just gently pull the front ribs up to keep the lower spine straight. If on the other hand you know you're quite tight in the lower back, you want to feel like you're just gently trying to tilt the tailbone up. So whichever option you're doing, it should mean that you end up with the spine relatively straight and neutral. So I want you to stay here for another couple of breaths. Feel the weight even in the feet, front, back, inside, outside, left and right. And when you feel comfortable to go a little bit further, instead of walking your hands back in line with the feet, I want you to walk them forward like you're doing a wide-legged down dog. Make sure your hands stay a good shoulder width apart, so we're not bringing tension into the neck. And see if you can let the head gently move down and back. It's like you're trying to press the chest towards the mat, like you would in HaTha. Give the head a little roll, let the shoulders and neck soften. The challenge, of course, here that your legs are remaining active the whole time. Resist the temptation to lock the knees. But try to keep the legs straight. We'll just hold here for a few more breaths, remembering to breathe steadily through your nose the whole time. Let the body relax here. And after one more calm exhalation here, I want you to just gently walk your hands back in. And again, rest with the palms underneath the shoulders and the shoulders pulled back towards the hips. Check that your spine is still relatively neutral. I know your feet are probably burning a little bit. That's okay, they won't fall off. Take your right hand now directly under your face. And take your left hand onto the back of your left hip. I want you to gently press down with your left hand to keep the hips anchored, and then press into your right hand and see if you can turn the shoulders. Now we can do this posture with the arm raised, but it often takes away some of the twist for the lower back. So maybe better to feel that the left hand is anchoring the hips as the shoulders turn. Try to keep the head centered. So again, we're not going into a sort of side bend, but rather staying with the body equally or equidistant between the feet. And after breathing out once more there, swap your hands and do the same on the other side. So left hand comes down directly under the face. Take your right hand to the back of your right hip and twist, and maybe look up over the right shoulder. So left hand presses down to turn the shoulders. Right hand presses down to keep the hips level. And again, looks much fancier if we raise the arm high, but we usually lose the twist. So let's go for what's most effective rather than what makes the best photo. Give yourself 1 or 2 more breaths here. Try to feel the head moving forward, the tailbone moving back. And after breathing out, bring your right hand back down. And just for a moment, lift the collarbones and arch the spine.
Bring your chin in, press up between the shoulder blades. And then see if you can just gently float the feet together. And sit back onto your heels with the toes tucked under, so it's this position rather than this position. And just sit with your hands on your thighs for a couple of breaths. You might like to give your shoulders a little roll, making sure there's no tension in the neck. Now this toe tucked position is eventually very comfortable, but maybe not initially. So if you need to untuck the toes, that's fine, but try to stay with it if you can. Take your right arm up, take your left arm down, and see if you can bind your hands behind the back, using a strap if necessary. So a good little opening for the shoulders, good little stretch for the soles of the feet. Feet tend to get a little neglected even though they carry our weight every day. And I want you to focus primarily on relaxing, in this case, the right arm, the upper arm. Try to be very gentle with the lower arm, the one that's internally rotated. And I want you to close your eyes if you can. Of course you can. And pay attention to what you feel and to the rhythm of your breath. Each time you breathe out, try to find somewhere in the body where there's a strong sensation, a sense of resistance, and just let that go, or let it ease off a little. So you're not necessarily trying to go any further, but just getting more comfortable with where you are. As we move deeper into the practice, you're working towards slowing your breath even more. Just the last couple of breaths here. Relax the face, relax the jaw. Lengthen your exhalations. And after gently breathing out once more, just release the arms. Press your palms out wide for a moment, pulling the shoulders down. Press the palms wide, pull the fingers back, just releasing the shoulders. And then take your hands down and just untuck the toes for a moment. So a little rest for the toes there. And now that the rest's over, because it is just a little rest, lift up again, tuck the toes, and this time taking the second side. So we're going to take the left arm up and the right arm down. And again, use a strap if you need to make your arms longer. If you can, take a bind, a little monkey grip with the hands. Remember that the two sides often don't feel the same. For most people, this is the tight side, although there are exceptions. Try to feel your body weight sinking down into the heels, helping to stretch the feet. And again, we're trying to keep the spine relatively neutral here. Again, close your eyes. Pay attention to what's happening within the body. The sensations of the posture, the rhythm and the sound of breathing. And remember, each calm out breath is an opportunity to soften. Again, focus on the left arm more than the right. Of course, letting both relax, but primarily the upper arm. And again, just give yourself a few more breaths there. When your mind starts to drift off, just bring it back to your breathing and to the sensations of the posture, using them to keep your mind anchored in the present. After one more slow out breath, again just release the arms. Press the palms out wide to the sides. Pull your shoulders down. Pull the fingers back. And then maybe press the arms forward for a moment, like 2 stop signs. And untuck your feet. You might like to just sit back and stretch the fronts of the ankles for a moment. And then when you're ready, just roll over your feet. So again, tucking the toes, roll over the feet, sink back into Malasana for a couple of breaths, heels to the mat if you can. Just a nice simple Malasana, arms resting over the knees or a little in between the knees if that's comfortable. And then gently sit all the way back. And start by taking your feet comfortably wide. So we're working a little bit with inner hips at the moment. We'll work with outer hips again in a little bit. And if you find when you sit like this your lower back really rounds out, I want you to keep your hands behind you. In fact, we can all start like that. So shoulders down and back. And see if you can get a bit of a stretch across the collarbones. Try to feel the rib cage moving forwards a little bit. And I want you to try and keep your knees and feet pointing straight up. So it's like you're just gently rolling the inner knees down. Take another breath or two here. And then if you're comfortable, if you can keep your spine as it is, bring your hands to the heart. So now we're actively supporting the spine. And I want you to stay there for a couple of breaths. Now that might already be strong enough. But if you want to go further, try to keep your body fairly upright. So we're not taking Upavishta Konasana, but rather working towards Sama Konasana, same angle posture. So you can either start to walk the feet back a little bit, or sometimes it's a bit easier if you press the hips forward. So you're working towards your maximum side split. And again, hands to the heart if you can, so the body is self-supporting. Another option might be just to take hands to the inner calves or inner knees. Try to lift up through the crown of the head and anchor down through the sit bones. And again, close the eyes. Work towards lengthening your breath. Always coming back to that steady inner focus, that inner rhythm. Remembering always that our practice should help us maintain the sense of presence, body and mind in the same place at the same time. And if you feel comfortable, just for the last little bit here, see if you can go a tiny bit wider. It doesn't have to be much. And remember, I don't want you to force these postures. Try to be really gentle. As I mentioned, you're just trying to get comfortable. Rather than using more effort, you're letting go of unnecessary resistance. Just give yourself a last couple of breaths here. After breathing out once more, I want you to take your hands back behind your hips and using your hands, pick your hips up and slide your hips back a little bit. So we don't want to tense the muscles of the inner legs whilst they're being really heavily stretched. So once you feel that the stretch has gone away from the legs, I want you to pick your inner knees up. And wrap your arms around your shins. You can make sure you're alternating arms. And once you have the knees more or less together, rock back into Brahmandasana, the cosmic egg. So finding your balance point. And then close your eyes, pull the shoulders down, lift the collarbones up. Try to find the point of weightlessness. After gently breathing out once more there. Just gently open your eyes and bring your feet to the mat. We're going to take a little side stretch. So take your right leg out along your mat, bend your left leg out to the side, and you can pull it back a little bit further if you'd like. So sometimes this one's called Pajvajanu Shirsasana, sometimes Parivrita Janu Shirsasana. But in any case, we're trying to lengthen the top side of the body. So with the right leg forward, take your left hand to the right hand top of the left thigh. Take your left arm up and over past your head. Try to turn your body a little to the side. And then reach over into your left fingers. So it should feel almost like you're trying to bring the right shoulder down towards the right knee. And try to pull your left elbow back in line with the body. Now if it's easy for you, you can hold the toes. But if you have to turn your body towards the floor, don't do that. You want to try and keep the shoulders stacked left over right as much as possible. And again, see if you can close your eyes. Take your attention to this place in the body where you feel the most resistance. Probably somewhere between the left hip and the left hand. If you feel really comfortable there, you might just shuffle the body a little forward and bring the right hand to the inner right heel and turn the body a little bit more. But remember, all of this is a stretch for the left side of the body. Try not to hang your head. So there should be a sense of the neck in line with the rest of the spine. We've got a little bit longer here. A few more slow breaths. Perhaps going a tiny bit further every couple of breaths, even if it's imperceptible. So just give yourself one more slow breath here. And after you breathe out, bring the body back up. And again, pick up the right leg. Bring your knees together, bring your arms around the shins, lift the collarbones, and again just sink back into Brahmandasana, a little reset for body and breath. after breathing out once more. We'll take the same on the other side. So stretch your left leg out along the mat, bend the right leg out to the side. You can take it a little bit further back than 90 degrees if you're really comfortable there. And then start by taking left hand to right thigh and right arm up and over past your head. And again, keep your body turned to the side. So you're trying to pull the elbow, the arm back in line with the left leg. Don't be in a hurry. It's important to give the body at least 3 to 5 slow breaths in order for it to start to relax. So we're not moving by working harder, but by softening more. And again, maybe you can hold the foot, maybe not. The two sides will be a little different here. This is my tight side. Maybe for you it's your easy side. Remember, you're getting to know your body in the practice. All its little patterns. In the same way that as you deepen your focus, you're getting to know the patterns of breath and the patterns of mind. All the little desires and aversions, likes and dislikes of the body, of the breath, and of the mind. Of course, over time, just gradually allowing those desires and aversions to fade, to find equanimity with all action. So just working at your own pace. Remember, if your breath starts to get forced or shallow or shaky, you're doing too much. Back off. Stay in your comfort zone. Your breath will tell you when you've gone too far. Just a few more breaths here. A last little surrender into the side of the body. And after one more calm out breath, just gently bring your body back up once more. Bring the left leg in. And again, bring the knees together, the feet together. Wrap your arms around your shins. Again, trying to alternate which arm's on top and come back into your balance point. Close your eyes there, just holding for a couple of slow breaths. And gently bring your feet to the mat. Come into Gomukhasana with the left leg on top. So again, cross-legged is a good alternative if you can't do Gomukhasana. We're going to take a little forward fold from here with a little bonus shoulder stretch as well. So try to feel the sit bones are fairly evenly weighted. Take a couple of breaths there. And when you're ready, open the arms wide. And bring your right arm over your left. So you're bringing your arms into the Garudasana position, even though legs are in Gomukhasana. And I want you to spend a few breaths here, just pulling the shoulders gently down and away from the ears. You should feel that the hips start to relax a little bit more. And staying where you are is fine, just with closed eyes and steady breath. But if you feel comfortable and you want to go further, start to gently bring your body forward. Now, if your sit bones lift up, you've gone too far. You might just like to rock the hips to help them stay anchored. And you might rest the elbows just lightly on the knees for a few breaths. And that can be very, very strong in shoulders and hips. So again, listen to your body. If you're comfortable to go further, see if you can maybe bring the elbows all the way to the mat, and then maybe finally the hands to the mat. But again, the sit bones should still feel like they're connected down to the floor, down to the mat. Remember here, you're trying to keep the thumbs pointing up, not out to the side. Slow your breath down. And as the mind follows the breath, hopefully the inner dialogue, the inner chatter, is also starting to subside a little bit. Just a few more breaths here. A chance to relax outer shoulders and outer hips. Gently breathe out once more here. If you've gone forward, sit back up. Wherever you are, unravel the arms. Stretch your arms up high past the head, reaching up into the fingers. Then interlacing your fingers, just press the palms up. Take another breath in, chin to throat. Stretch through the sides of the body, maybe a little rock side to side. And then lower your arms gently down. Lean back. And again, find your way into Brahmandasana. And after your next out breath, open your eyes and we'll do the same on the other side. So right leg now comes over left. Remember, we want to make sure we're not sitting on the feet here. So have the legs wide enough that the feet aren't getting in the way of your sit bones. And just take a couple of breaths with the body fairly upright, hands on the knees. Gomukhasana is a wonderful posture for opening both inner and outer hips. It's also a great posture if you tend to suffer from impingement of the sacroiliac joint. So if you have lower back pain that you know is caused from some sort of SIJ impingement, it's a great posture to practice in most cases. So now once you feel the hips have settled, open the arms wide once more, and then bring left arm over right. And again, spend a couple of breaths just in that upright position, pulling your shoulders gently down. And try to keep the hands as central as possible, the thumbs pointing up. And once you've taken a few breaths there, it's fine to stay if that's already strong in both hips and shoulders, or either one, because moving forward will actually deepen both of those stretches. So again, maybe just moving forward so that the elbows rest on the knees for a few breaths. Make sure you still feel the hips, the sit bones anchored down. And then if you feel comfortable, start to bring your body further forward, maybe taking the elbows to the mat, maybe they won't reach, that's fine. And finally, the hands reaching the mat as well. So again, keep working to lengthen your exhalations, helping to calm your nervous system, steady the mind, and help the body relax into the posture. Keep the shoulders back, the face soft. Just the last couple of breaths here. Try to stay with the posture. You can back off a little if necessary, but try not to come out of it if you can avoid it. And after exhaling once more here, just slowly bring the body up. If you've gone forward, wherever you are, unravel the arms. Reach your arms high, stretching up into the fingers. And opposite thumb on top, interlace and press through the palms. Reach up high, pull the elbows back, maybe again a little rock side to side. And then lower your arms gently down. Give your shoulders a little roll. And then last time, feet together, arms around the shins. Rock back into Brahmandasana. Just one more breath here. And after you breathe out, come to lying down on your back. We're just going to finish with some simple moving bridge with an optional back arch for those who'd like. And then one nice little gentle, safe hamstring stretch. So I want you to begin with your arms over your head, reaching out into the fingers. And keeping your feet hip width and parallel, just start to lift and lower the hips in time with your breath. So as you inhale, you're pressing down through the soles of the feet to lift the hips up. And as you exhale, you're gently letting the hips lower back down to your mat. Make sure that you're moving smoothly and breathing smoothly. And try to synchronize those inner and outer movements. Again, try to keep your eyes closed so you're feeling what's happening. You should be able to lift a little higher each time, even if it's only a millimetre. The next time you lift up, if it feels okay for you, take your hands down, interlace them behind your back, and see if you can rock the shoulder blades a little closer to each other. Try to keep the feet parallel and hip width, the knees also in line with the feet. And just gently lift the collarbones towards the chin. Keep the shoulders and face relaxed.
And after your next out breath, just gently lower your body all the way down. Release the shoulders and rest with your hands on the lower belly, either keeping the hips steady or rocking side to side if you'd prefer. Remember to listen to your body. Some days it might feel better to be still, some days it might feel better to move. Don't get stuck in patterns, in habits. You might like to just take that raise and lower again, that consistent steady movement that we started with, or you might like to lift up and again interlace the hands and just hold that bridge, what we call second bridge position. Try to feel like you're stretching the back of the neck and the shoulders, but the weight is more on the shoulders and upper back than it is on the neck. Try to keep the chin to the throat, a gentle sense of Jalanda or Bandha. And keep lifting the collarbones towards the chin, bringing the arch into the upper spine. Steady breaths in and out through the nose. And after breathing out gently once more there, you might like to lower your body. Well, I suspect you probably will like to lower your body and have another rest. So again, nice relaxed abdominal breathing as you rest. And you've got the option to stay there resting or to go back to either holding that second bridge or just lifting in and out of first bridge. But if you'd like to take one back arch, you can, just if it's really comfortable for you. Often we get stuck in forward bending patterns. The back arch, spinal extension is really, really good to just balance that out, but not essential. So either resting, first bridge moving, second bridge steady, or a back arch if you'd like. Make sure you feel a stretch in the front of the body if you're in the arch. So it might be the front of the hips, it might be the stomach or the chest, or a combination of those. Keep breathing smoothly. Just holding there for a last couple of breaths. And gently lower down. Particularly if you've been in the arch, make sure you give your wrists a little bit of a stretch out. Making a gentle fist. Roll the shoulders in, press the backs of the wrists up. And give the wrists a little bit of a roll. Then stretch your left leg out. And bring your left knee just gently in towards the chest. And you might like to rock it side to side and make little circles for a breath or two. And then if you feel comfortable, bring the knee a little bit more tightly to the chest. Keep your right calf on the mat. And once you feel the body is quite comfortable there, using a strap if necessary, I want you to straighten your left leg. So if you can't comfortably hold the ankle or the foot and straighten the leg, just put a strap around your foot to make your arm longer. And if your right calf is lifting up, just back off the stretch a little bit. So you want to feel that the whole spine and the back of the right leg remains connected to the floor or to the mat. Try to gently press up from the back of the left hip towards your left heel. And again, try to keep your eyes closed, maintaining your inner focus. Find the spot in your leg where you feel there's the most resistance, the most tension, and that's where I want you to focus on relaxing. As we approach the end of the practice, your breath ideally will be very quiet now. Not a great deal of need for breath. Remember to keep the shoulders relaxed. Body can be a little sneaky, so just keep checking in that you're not allowing the left knee to bend here. That you're not letting the right calf lift up or the shoulder shrug. Just a few more breaths. Always bringing the mind back to the breath, back to the posture and back to the present. And after breathing out once more, just release the left leg. Stretch it out along the mat, rest for a couple of breaths. You might like to give the legs a little roll in and out. And then we'll finish with the same on the other side. So hug the right knee into the body, starting maybe with it halfway in and a little circle or a little rock from side to side if that feels beneficial for you. Then bring the leg tightly into the chest for a couple of breaths, making sure that the left leg can stay comfortably down. When you feel ready, using a strap if necessary, straighten the right leg. So if you're not using a strap, you should at least be able to hold the ankle comfortably. Outer foot is my preference, just so that the sole of the foot stays perpendicular to the leg. If we hold the big toe, sometimes the foot rolls in, inverts if you want to speak anatomical language. So we're trying to keep the foot in a fairly neutral position. Except that the two sides probably feel a little bit different, both in intensity and the location of the strongest stretch. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Keep the left leg connected to the mat, especially the calf. Keep gently reaching out to the back of the right heel, allowing the leg to slowly move a little deeper. Give yourself a last 2 or 3 breaths here. you feel ready, just gently release the right leg back along the mat. Again, you might like to give the legs a little roll in and out. Then stretch your arms over your head, reaching into the fingertips and toe tips. Lengthen out through your whole body. Then take your arms down into Shavasana with the palms facing up and your arms a little away from the body. Making little adjustments there so you feel comfortable and symmetrical. And then with closed eyes, take an inner focus in Ajna Chakra, the eyebrow center. Maybe take 2 or 3 more slow, conscious breaths. And then, after those couple of conscious breaths, just allow your breathing to return to its own rhythm. See if you can observe the breath without any sense of involvement or control. And as your breath starts to soften of its own accord, see if you can notice also the mind becoming quieter, the inner dialogue subsiding. Become aware perhaps of the little gaps between breaths, especially after each exhalation. One breath finished, the next not arisen. And in the same way, see if you can become aware of the little gaps between thoughts, when one thought has dissolved and the next has not yet arisen. Just keep coming back to rest in those little gaps, the stillness from which all movement arises and into which it returns. Let yourself rest in simple awareness of what is, just for another couple of minutes.
free to stay there as long as you feel appropriate. When you do decide to move, just do so very gently, slowly coming back from stillness to movement, from the inner to the outer. And see if you can stay connected to that inner stillness as you go about the activities of the day. As always, thank you for sharing the practice with me and for taking the time to reconnect with yourself, your fundamental being. I'll see you again soon.